Hello everyone, welcome to our Juventus Coaching YouTube channel. In this video, we will be going over in possession principles in Zone 2. Today on the tactical board, we will be showing these principles with the 11v11 formation. However, please note that these principles apply across the board, even in 7v7 and 9v9 coaching. The shapes will vary slightly depending on what kind of formation and coaching you are doing. However, keep in mind that these principles apply across the board in the way we coach them at training sessions and in the way we implement them during games. If you need more specific visuals, you can refer to the Mesocycle PDFs for the 7v7 and 9v9 coaching. If we take a look at the tactical board, we can see that we're in Zone 2, this is Zone 1, this is Zone 3, so we are in the middle of the field. We have our back four, we have our two center mids, the three and the striker up front, and our 4-2-3-1 formation that we play in the 11v11. These principles can also apply with one pivot in the classic 4-3-3. The red players you see are put there to represent a visual of the opposition. They just represent different lines of pressure, but have no specific tactical shape. We see the ball right here. Now we will be going through different scenarios and see how our shapes and movements look in Zone 2. So let's say this center back has the ball. We're going to draw the shape that it is also demonstrated in the images in our mesocycle. Our fullback is providing the angle. Our winger is stretching the width and also getting as high as possible. Same for the striker. We will be adjusting these players and then showing why these players are shifting in these positions. All right, as you see, our positions have shifted slightly. And let's take a look at our first principles, which is the depth and the support that the center backs give in Zone 2 when we possess the ball. Giving depth and giving support in the center back looks like giving a good supporting angle for a good pass to either consolidate or recycle possession. So if the fullback has the ball, notice our center backs are not here. In this position, they will be unable to receive the ball. So they're backpedaling, they're opening their hips. They're almost in Zone 1 because they want to be able to receive this pass, potentially play forward, potentially switch it, but they want to be able to be the players that we have as an option to consolidate or recycle possession. The same principles would apply if the ball is in the center. Let's say this player has the ball. We don't want our center back so close to them because then that pass is not available. Again, we want them to give depth and support to whoever has possession of the ball in Zone 2. Again, ball to our center back here in our scenario. Now let's take a look at the diamond shapes around the ball that we want to create. The center back has the ball. We see our fullback dropping, giving a diagonal passing angle. We see our center mid giving a diagonal passing angle as well. And then we see the number 10. This is a diamond shape that we are creating around the ball. We have talked in length about the diamond shape around the ball in our build-up videos. So if you need a refresh, you can go back to that video. As a reminder, we want to create diamond shapes around the ball because those shapes offer us different solutions to move the ball up the field. A diamond shape gives us diagonal passing options, and if those are covered, it also gives us a vertical passing options to break lines and move up the field. That is why we want to create diamond shapes around the ball, no matter if it's in the center or on the flanks. Third principle, in Zone 2 with the ball, we have the width relationships between the wingers and the fullbacks. As you can see here, in this image, we have two players giving width. We have the winger on this side, and we have the fullback on the opposite side giving width, right? If the ball is on this side, one fullback is checking in, giving that passing angle, giving that support to the center back. The other fullback instead is going up the field to provide that width and to also be in a position to receive and attack right away if the ball gets switched to the other side. We can reverse the scenario to a similar situation on the opposite side where the fullback drops to support and the other fullback, in this case on the left side, gets up high in the field, ready to attack. All right, so we see this shifting relationship between the two fullbacks. The one on ball side drops in to give the passing angle. The other one stretches the width and goes up high in the field. Let's go back to our original scenario to highlight a specific point. We speak about a relationship of width between the winger and the fullback, and these two players have to work together. On this side, for example, the width is being provided by the fullback. On this side, the width is being provided by the winger. Originally, the positions might have been like this, with the ball on this side. As the ball moved here, this fullback recognized that scenario, moved up the field. Now, we wouldn't want two players with heels on the line stretching the pitch because that becomes pretty easy to defend. With just one player, now they're defending both of them. The winger, in that case, again, working together, winger, fullback in a relationship to provide width. The winger recognizes that the fullback is coming up, and they're not just going to stand there, they're going to shift inside, move in, and provide a threat in the half space to potentially run it behind the line or receive and dribble at the back line. But again, you see now the winger is not wide anymore, they have come inside. And the fullback is the player providing the width. Again, reversing the scenario on the opposite side, winger's here, the ball is there, fullback is going to come up, create width, and be ready to attack. Winger recognizes the situation, shifts inside. Okay? So again, it's a relationship between the winger and the fullback working together to provide width and to provide an attacking threat in the half space. All right, you can also see that the two center mids are not in the same line. Again, we said this in build-up, when the two center mids are in the same line, it gets easy to defend them. So the one closest to the ball is providing a diagonal passing angle. The other one is getting into that space in between the lines, because if we can hit them with a diagonal pass, they can receive, go forward, and play those balls in dangerous positions. Third principle is that we highlight to our players and we coach in the training sessions to then bring to the game is the body shape of our players. When we are in possession of the ball, it is not only important what we do when we have the ball at our feet, but it is also key on how we orient our body and position ourselves when we are off the ball. Let's take the center mids as an example. If this center back has the ball and our center mid is facing the ball directly, so giving shoulders to the goal, this center back is going to have, the center mid, he's going to have a few options. They can play wall passes, they can play diagonal. However, it's going to be very hard for them to receive on the half turn and go forward. So here, it is important that the coach reminds the player to have an open body shape with their hips at 45 degrees so they can both play back with a wall pass, but at the same time, if the situation allows, they can receive on the half turn and go forward. Okay, so we can take a look at how that might look. If they position themselves like this, they can receive, turn, and go forward. This principle can also apply to our number 10. It can apply to our fullbacks, our center backs. The way we position our hips is very important. So we always want to make sure our hips are open, facing the field. Otherwise, the players are going to close themselves to certain angles and are only going to be able to play those passes, and they're going to limit themselves. So as a coach, make sure you remind them, how are you positioning your hips, your shoulders? How are your feet? When you receive the ball, are you going to be able to play in the directions we want to play, or are you going to be closed because your body position is not correct in that scenario? Again, center mids, number 10, fullbacks, and center backs, these concepts apply to everyone. In zone 2, we also speak, as you see in the mesocycle, one of the principles is the lateral ball conduction, or ball conduction in general. When we are carrying the ball up the field, we're just not carrying the ball just to do it, all right? It needs to have a purpose. And in soccer, there is usually two types of ball conduction when it comes to direction. There is a ball conduction that is vertical, means you're carrying the ball up straight, but you can also carry the ball laterally. You can carry the ball up the field with speed, or you can carry the ball pretty slow, all right? So it is important that we teach our players different ways of conducting the ball, of dribbling the ball up the field, to modify the shape and the behavior of the defenders, and then use those advantages that we are creating. For example, as a center back, I can carry the ball up the field straight, and I can do so slowly in a way that I'm attracting pressure. As soon as this player jumps to press me, then we can use the third man to get to the player in behind this player that I just attracted out. Okay, that's one way. I can, in a situation where they're not pressing us high and we need them to come out, we need the opponent to come out to have some space in between the lines, the center back can carry the ball pretty slowly. The slower you carry the ball, the more you're baiting the opponent to come and get you. Again, this player jumps to press, you created space here, third man, we got the ball to our center mid. Second way to carry the ball is not just straight vertically, but you can create a lateral ball conduction. So if you're a center back, you can carry the ball in this direction, okay? So instead of going here, you just move the ball and you are dribbling laterally. Now, it is important that as we show this technical action to the player, we are explaining the reason why. And the reason why is I'm dribbling the ball, I'm conducting the ball in a way that is modifying the shape of the opposition, right? Because if I'm carrying the ball as a center back, if I'm carrying the ball this way, what will happen to the opposition structure? They will start shifting. And in this case, I am creating space right here. I'm dribbling the ball to this side laterally, I'm making them move to one side, and I'm creating space here for my team. So after that lateral ball conduction, if I can hit a diagonal pass, then my teammates can be into open space, ready to attack and finish in zone 3. Okay, so we see how there's different ways of conducting the ball in zone 2, both for our center backs and our center mids, and we can use those different technical actions of dribbling the ball in order to use them for a specific tactical principle or tactical scenario. Again, a slow ball conduction can be used to attract press. A lateral ball conduction can be used to move them to one side to then hit the diagonal pass and create space for my teammate. So again, when we're carrying the ball up the field, there needs to be a purpose. If I'm a center back, and I have the ball again here, there's no point in me just dribbling straight as fast as I can into an opponent. All right, after the lateral ball conduction, I spoke about a diagonal pass. So let's briefly go over why, in zone 2 specifically, we might want diagonal passes that break lines. If we think about it, a vertical pass makes the opposition move in one way. It makes them go back. If I hit a vertical pass, the opposition is forced to move back and defend. If I hit a horizontal pass, the opposition moves in one direction. They shift. Okay? Any horizontal passes will have the opposition shift side to side. A diagonal pass that breaks lines is unique in two ways. Because if I hit diagonal pass, now the opposition, they will have to move back and they will have to shift horizontally at the same time. So in one pass, one tempo of play, I made the opposition move in two different ways. And as they move back and as they move horizontally, guess what's going to happen? More space in between the lines, more ways to catch them off guard. So again, to show the uniqueness of the diagonal pass in zone 2, if I pass straight, they're going to move back. If I pass horizontally, they're going to move side to side. If I'm able to hit a diagonal pass that breaks lines, they're going to have to move back and they're going to have to move side to side, which is something that will get us an advantage. Let's put our players back into our original shape. Last principles that we want to highlight is the third man. We spoke at length about the third man in the build-up video, so again, you can take a look at those if you need a refresh. But to highlight it again in zone 2, we want to look for those relationships where if a player is in the shadow of an opponent in between the lines, we use a second player to get to the third player that's free. So it's always the search of the free player, usually in between the lines, through someone else. We can move the ball from here to a second man to a third man. So always looking for those third man combinations in zone 2 to break the lines of pressure and move the ball up the field. Lastly, I want to go over this frame one more time because it's the frame and the image that you see in the mesocycle. So again, as one of the center back is in possession of the ball, they are providing the depth and the support to consolidate and recycle possession. The fullback on ball side is dropping to give the passing angle. The fullback on opposite side is stretching the width and going up the field to attack. The center mids are staggered. The one closer to the ball is giving that option. The other one is getting into a pocket of space or carrying someone away from the pressure. The striker and the two wingers are stretching the back line as high as they can, almost entering zone 1. This would theoretically be the offside line. And our number 10 is floating in between the lines, first to create the diamond shape, but also as these players up top are stretching the opposition and pulling defenders away, the number 10 floats in between the line to see if they're able to receive, turn, dribble up the back line. Again, fullbacks, center backs, midfielders, and number 10 paying attention to the way that they're positioning their hips so they can receive on the half turn and go forward. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments, and we will see you in another video. Thank you.